Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mythic here, bringing you another YouTube video today. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to be taking a look at how you can land yourself a part-time job. I myself have been working a part-time job as a teenager since the end of March of this year, and I'm currently still working there. Now, some of you may be thinking to yourself, well, why do I actually need a part-time job? My parents pay for whatever I want to do, and I just hang out with my friends and stuff. Well, truth is, one day you're pretty much going to have to do all that stuff on your own, and if you don't, have a job, how are you going to live? You need money and you need insurance and stuff like that. If you don't have any of that, you're not going to make it anywhere. You're going to be stuck on the side of the street, living homeless, something like that. So there's a few things you're actually going to want to have that can actually improve your chances to getting this first part-time job and make you seem like a more valuable candidate for the position. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of that stuff today. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into it. Alright, guys, so one of the first things you want to go ahead and do is prepare yourself a resume that is typed out and printed and or submitted online for an application for the job you're going to apply for once you do, of course, find that. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, do I really need a resume as a part-time student, or, well, excuse me, a full-time student looking for a part-time job at a high school level? I mean, no and yes. No, you don't, but you should. Because if you have one, then essentially you're putting yourself ahead of the other high school students, of course, or other people who didn't submit resumes, anything like that. If you have a resume, essentially what that's doing is it's showing them who you are as a person, so they already kind of have a feel before you actually go ahead and get to that next step of the interview. Because, of course, anything about yourself that's positive, you want them to know that. So stuff like qualifications, reasons that you are qualified for this job, you could be like, oh, I demonstrate an on-task behavior. See how I included an action word in front? That basically is saying, hey, this person is this, X, whatever. So that's one thing you want to do. Make sure there's no grammatical errors in your resume. You definitely don't want any errors. And have someone check your resume over, like an adult, a teacher, a parent, anything like that, a friend, a couple friends. Make sure it's a few people, and definitely this isn't going to be a one-shot thing. Like, you're not going to do it in one take. Like, you can't just type a resume and be like, oh, I'm done. Like, even I know that now from experience when I made mine. It was a pain. But once you get it, you got it. Like, you're chilling. You got it. So, essentially, what the resume is going to include after your qualifications, you're going to want to include your education. If you have a 3.0 GPA or higher, you're going to want to show them that. Any relevant coursework, excuse me. So, like, what classes you're taking that kind of relate to the job, or anything that's, like, relating to life after high school. So, like, something like a math course might even be okay to put on there, depending on what it entails. If it's like, let's say, a programming class and you're going for some internship for like a tech job or something, that would be something good to put on there. Achievements and awards, anything you received. I received a few, honor roll, stuff like that. Sports and activities, didn't really have too many there, but anything you got's better than nothing. If you don't have something for a category, like for work experience, I already put on my present job because this is what I would be using for my next application if I, of course, do get another job, which probably will happen eventually, obviously. If you don't have something for a certain section, just take the section out and then try to increase the font size across the board so it doesn't look like it's an empty paper. Or if you're having a hard time doing that without making the text super big, then just go ahead and add a new section that you can come up with that's a good standpoint. And then, of course, you're going to want to include those skills and then community service as well. Alright, guys, so the next things you want to go ahead and prepare is a cover letter. This is going to go along with your resume either online or in person. This is another typed document. Essentially, it's going to include your name, your address, your location, blah, 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 and then, of course, the location of the company. And then if you do know the employer's name, do include that, like address them or address them as the employer, whatever. But essentially what this is going to do, first paragraph, you're going to want to go ahead and talk about why you were interested in this job. And then you're going to want to see if you can incorporate a problem that you found that the company's facing and say, like, hey, I have these skills, I'm going to bring them to the table, and it's going to help your company out. It's going to make things better, and this is why you need me on your crew. So that's the gist of it. It's really short and sweet. You just want to make sure, again, no grammatical errors, stuff like that. Make sure someone checks over it, all that good stuff. Same as the resume. And then, of course, thank them, the employer themselves, for their time to read over this letter, and then put a contact email or a phone number, something like that. And then, of course, sincerely, your name, first and last. And that's pretty much going to sum up your cover letter. Alright, guys, so another thing you're going to go ahead and do, this is actually optional. There's a website called LinkedIn.com. And basically what it's going to do is going to help you build connections with other people in the area that have similar jobs and stuff like that. I'm going to show a template example because I couldn't actually get my profile to actually work online because it kept saying I was a robot. I don't understand that. How could I literally be a robot when I'm a human being? But anyways, so basically it's going to include on this template your name, your current employer, stuff like that, city, state, and then you're going to put your summary of yourself, like what your interests are, stuff like that, your job title, any jobs you currently have, basically. Essentially, this is post job. So, like, once you actually have your job, I guess, is the point of this. And then include your education. If you're not in college yet, of course, like, this is a high school perspective, then just include, like, what high school and, like, your graduation year, blah, blah, blah. Any skills you have, this goes back to, like, oh, I'm good with these kind of things like tech skills, stuff like that, whatever it is, hands-on. And then include some, like, contacts on the bottom, like other people that you know and stuff like that. And well, actually, hold on. Let me let me reword that. So basically, the connections slash contacts part is where you actually go ahead and find those people. So like, look for people you already know and try to meet new ones as well. So that's what that section is for. Sorry, I kind of said that wrong at first. All right, guys. So the next thing is the interview itself. So once you actually go ahead and land yourself that interview, once you've submitted your resume and your cover letter, you could have created a LinkedIn profile, but like I said, that's pretty much post-job employment. So that's when you're trying to like build a better like connection network with other people and improve as a person, as a worker. Now, as you can see on screen right here, this is my character in game in GTA 5. You don't need to go this crazy with dressing for an interview, but if you want to, you can. But what they're expecting is business casual. So what that is like khakis for guys, a dress for like females, stuff like that. Don't go too insane. Make sure you have decent shoes on. Clean yourself up too. Don't come in with like hair all over the place or anything like that, or like your face looks like it's about to fall off like mine. But you guys get the point. But yeah, just do your best, and you want to make sure you're confident. So if you got to do a pose, like I got this, like just do something like that. Say something. Just be confident, because if you walk in there and you're like, hey, well, hi, they're gonna be like, yeah, this guy, girl, whatever. They're not getting hired. So yeah, I mean that's really all there is to that. All right, guys. So the last thing you want to do before you go ahead and conclude all your job endeavors is you're going to want to go ahead and prepare yourself a thank you letter for this interview. So basically, as on screen as shown, you're going to want to address the person that interviewed you and then today's date, stuff like that. And then it's brief and to the point. Basically, just say, thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I hope I was a valid candidate for the position, and I hope to hear back from you soon. Include like your contact again, email, phone number, something like that, and then sincerely your name. And that's just about it. And at this point, you guys, you're looking good for a job.